This is Lesson 2.2, Use CSS Styling. So what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets and helps define the look of your shapes and controls. You can specify most properties with style elements and gather common styles into external style sheets. So why use CSS? CSS helps separate an object's look from its behavior. JavaFX has a built-in CSS parser that works with properties and styles. JavaFX also lets you create skinnable components that use CSS typesheets for styling. This makes it easy to change the look and feel of your UIs. And Java code is reduced since you don't have to call setters to configure your objects. And finally, CSS allows designers, not just developers, to participate in the UI design of an application. Let's look at some JavaFX code now and show you how to apply CSS styling. To do this, I'll redesign the text shape program from the previous lesson and use CSS. Here's the code again for the previous version of text shape. Note that this program creates a text shape and calls setters to configure its properties. When I compile and run this program, it produces this output. Now let's take a look at the new design using CSS. The first thing to notice is that there are two files in this project: text.css that holds our CSS styling, and textshapecss.java, which is the JavaFX code that uses this CSS. Let's look at the Java file first. This statement calls getResource to load the CSS file we just mentioned, and this statement adds the CSS file to the scene. We then create the text object here, same as the other program. However, this statement now sets a CSS ID called myText in our text object. As you will soon see, this identifier string defines the CSS styling ID in the CSS file. Let's compile and run this program now. You will see that it produces the same output as the program we just showed you. Now let's turn our attention to the CSS file. The first thing you notice is the same ID we used in the JavaFX code denoted with a # character. Inside the braces are lines with key value pairs separated by colons and terminated by semicolons. Each key defines a CSS style property that starts with -fx- followed by the property name, a colon, and the corresponding value. When the CSS parser reads this file, it generates the setters for you to configure the text object. This is the big benefit of using CSS, since the amount of Java code that you have to write is reduced. Okay, that's it for CSS styling for now. Later on in upcoming lessons, I'll show you more examples of styling with CSS.